something can come of that later. It's like planting seeds, you know.
Yeah. So then let's get into like the convention preparation, I
Yeah,
should say.
the prep proper.
Yeah, I think it's already
Um,
been mentioned in terms of like business cards. Um, the value there is it's kind of like putting a bookmark in a book you're reading. When you have a business card and you can like bookmark the end of your conversation with somebody, it makes it just that much easier for them to get that reminder. A lot of people, especially gaming companies and peripherals companies, will get a ton of business
Yeah,
cards. So if you don't have one, the chances that they're going to be able to recall where to find you are pretty slim, because they're meeting hundreds of people over the weekends, hundreds, if not thousands. So having that card, having that reminder for when they go home and take everything out of their suitcase, like that is very important. And I think Loco is saying give it 3 weeks for printing. Will be safe. Like on the like hopefully.
yeah,
and that's just the printing, right? Because you gotta design that bad boy in
design
Yeah.
it.
advance and throw it at some other people. And please, please, please do this. Please don't think that you've got the most baller business card without checking with at least 3 other people. Like send it over
Yeah.
to people who know what they're looking at. And even maybe people who don't, just your mom. My mom's a great sounding board for a lot of this kind of stuff. If it doesn't make sense to other people, or they're like, oh, you might want to, shift this around, or like, I've never seen that before and I don't think it sells, whatever it happens to be,
Or
you need
you
to get that
spelled
some
your
time for
username
feedback.
wrong.
Yeah,
Oh,
honestly,
jeez.
yes, yes. I have oftentimes, and this has been, I was born with this name, and I still type Hutner all the time, like the T before the N. It's proofreading is valuable.
Mm-hmm. I would say in terms of like before convention stuff, with PAXs at least, and I know with some Comic Cons and probably other conventions, you can now sign up to get badges as a content creator. It used to be media, but now there's a specific badge for content creators. This
Hmm.
not only gets you a free badge, which is good for people who are especially trying to like save a little bit of money, but
Yeah.
when you sign up for a content creator badge, you also get put on a list where all of the game developers and people that are going to the convention have your email and will send you out emails to be able to make appointments with businesses that are going to the convention. It gets really annoying,
There's a
but
lot of emails.
there's a lot of emails. But if you're interested in finding new games, games that you might be interested in, games that might fit your community, they're reaching out to you. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is very handy. So as
Especially
horribly spammed as my inbox is, I found a few games that look really fun to
right.
play. So
Especially as like a smaller content creator, or if you're going for your first time and you don't know, like, you don't really have connections yet, you're not really sure like who to even like, who's gonna be there. Like getting
Yeah.
those emails is like, I'd rather get too many emails than no emails, right? Like it's extra information.
mm-hmm.
Can I backtrack for a second here?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
I want to go back to business cards real quick because I had a
Okay.
few things about business cards that I want to touch on. First of all, business cards are a great idea. I will never tell you otherwise. One thing I would mention about business cards is don't make yours too crazy or too flashy. I know it can sometimes seem like a competition who can come up with the coolest business cards, but honestly, what I found is less is more. And you'll notice that like if you ever run into somebody from the government or in an agency or whatever, it's always just plain as hell. I mean, it has the little emblem, it has the information, and it's like, United States government, blah 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 blah. There's a reason for that because it's just simple and it's short. Nobody wants that. Like, I like business cards that I pick up and they have like flames on them and everything. Yeah, okay, cool. But like
or it
at the
actually
same time,
catches on fire.
yeah, because you want to
Somehow
catch the
you've
person's
installed a magic
eye, right?
trick.
Yeah, exactly. Like it electrocutes you when you pull it out, like that gum. But my thing is that sometimes you can make your card so convoluted and so complicated that the information that you're trying to convey doesn't even get across. So
Just
try not
lost.
to go too big with it and just be smart and practical. Now, the other thing I would offer you is I mean, I think you should always have business cards on you, but what I found for me personally is that business cards aren't that effective when it comes to trying to touch base with somebody for the first time. And what I have adapted, and I wouldn't use this every time, but just kind of feel out what's going on, because some people's Twitters are personal and not necessarily business. But what I would do is ask that person to follow you on Twitter at the end of the conversation instead of going into business cards. Because business cards to me, and again, this is just personally, can seem so networky and can seem so businessy that it can kind of put a weird, bitter twist to what was a organic and fun conversation, you know? So like we're hitting it off and we're talking, we're chatting, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and here's my business card because the only reason I'm talking to you is because I want to get ahead in my career. You know, that kind of thing. I've always kind of kept that. That's not always the perception, but what I'm saying is that I've always kept that in my back pocket, kind of thinking about it. How can I make this more organic? How can I make this seem like things are going to flow naturally more? And to me, going to Twitter and going, hey, do you have a Twitter? Do you mind if I follow you on Twitter? And they go, oh, of course you can follow me on Twitter. I'm getting a follow on Twitter. This guy streams on Twitch. It's awesome for my game. It's awesome for, you know, my stream. It's awesome for whatever I'm doing if I'm trying to build social media, right? But you ask them to follow you back as well. You don't even usually have to ask that. Usually they'll just go like, I'll toss a follow back. Boom.
They'll pull out their phone in the moment, and you can see
in the
that
moment
happening.
They'll do it, and they'll just pull it out. And then you've got a direct line of communication with this person anytime you want. Send them a little message. Hey, this is so and so. I just met you, you know, at TwitchCon. Blah 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 blah. Just want to touch base. You know, and I found that is way better than giving them your business card or getting their business card and then either expecting yourself or them to send an email.
Yeah.
Sure, that happens.
That's
it happens.
totally true. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
happens.
I
Sure,
mean,
it does. But my thing is like, it's so much more immediate, so much easier, and it benefits both
more
people
fluid.
immediately just to go right into Twitter and go, hey, let's just go ahead and follow each other. That's my thing. That's just a tip. It doesn't work for everybody. That's just found worked for me.
I definitely
think,
agree that creates more of a like casual, fluid engagement. That being said, there are a lot of people who do ask for business cards, so just having them is also good. Like both,
I mean,
both ways.
I think like the reason for business cards, at least for me, is like to get their Twitter and to do that exchange. Like I'm not doing it because I'm like expecting them to email me, but I'm like, okay, like you'll find me. This is where you can find my Twitter because, you know, at conventions, either your battery's low or you don't have a signal like 90% of the time. So
true
what I like to do is it's like I gather all the business cards and then I'll go through like on the plane ride and go through their and find all their Twitters and look everybody up that way.
See, that's a smart
move.
move.
It's like the same. It's like I'm getting the same thing accomplished, just like
a
at
tiny.
easier time.
Okay,
That's
so
sort
this
of
was
better.
I wanted to ask then. How do you guys handle your business cards that you receive? And how do you think that other people should and do with that?
I like
they go in my bag and I never see them again.
Yeah, that's mine.
I go through them all. Like I'll add like people on Twitter, and then if I'll when I'm going through them, I'll sit at my computer. Anybody that I wanted to reach out to via email, that's when I do that. So I'll go through all my things, do my emails, and then I just throw them out after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started doing I keep the ones where I'm like, okay, I might need this for later. Like I've got a bunch of emails for people at Twitch, a bunch of like different companies that I have or haven't worked with. I just kept because like what if they put out a game that later I'm like, oh shit, and I just didn't like I don't have like a contacts list really because I'm just horrible. But I also really like that little file cabinet.
I think that's a great idea.
That's pretty cute. I like that.
Yeah. When I get a card from like a streamer, then I'll just follow them and toss it.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to keep that unless it's
you don't
like
need the card, you need the connection.
Unless it's a really cool business card.
Yeah.
Like if it's like I think I still have yours, Hunter, because it was the wood one.
It's a pretty cool business card.
It's a pretty good business card. Yeah. So unless it's really cool, then I'll keep it because it's great. But otherwise, I'll get the information that I wanted from it and then toss it. And when we're talking about business cards, don't just be the person that leaves a bunch of your business cards on tables around the convention center because that's no.
Just sticking them in random people's pockets as they pass along.
People do that. They like leave them on the escalators. They just. Like, I found your business card on the floor in the convention center, and then I found. Why would that? No, just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't want to work with you because you're a litter bug.
Yeah, right?
Like, how about that? How about immediately the first thing I know about you
Oh.
is you give zero shits for the people who have to clean up after you.
Yeah, that's
So-
the one tier. You can see it dripping down my face from the litter.
Yeah, it's I've got a drawer next to my bed that I typically just kind of dump every business card I have into. I probably have all of your business cards sitting in there right now from whatever year I got them. And I'm not really a business card kind of person. Like I'm not gonna go and go like, oh, the business, blah blah blah. Again, I'm more about I'm more about organic relationships. I'm more about meeting people and just having that kind of work into its own thing.
Yeah.
And business cards always, like I said, I'm never gonna say don't have business cards on you. I'm never gonna say they're not helpful. I'm never gonna say that shit. Just for me personally, I don't typically use them, and I honestly just hold on to a stack of them just to avoid embarrassment if somebody asks me for one.
If somebody asks you, right.
Yeah. But even then, even if somebody asks me and I don't have, why don't we just jump on Twitter real quick and we'll just
Sure.
do it that way, blah blah blah. Again. So,
Mhm.
but anyways.